Ready to get more downloads on your podcast? Ready to start making money on your podcast? In today's episode, we're talking all sorts of insider secrets on how you can get more downloads, more cash, more networking. It's all here. Let's get into it. What is up, After Hours Entrepreneur? Are you ready to get more great podcast tips to get more downloads, to make more money? Then you, my friend, are in the right place. Really excited about today's episode because we're talking about one of my favorite topics, podcasting. But every week in Clubhouse, there are so many great takeaways. And I understand that you probably don't have 2 to 3 hours to sit in a Clubhouse room, but that's okay. I got your back. And in today's episode, I'm breaking down all the top takeaways from the Saturday 10 a.m. podcast growth room. So without further ado, let's get into it. Make sure you subscribe, leave a 5-star review, and let's get into it. So the first question of the day came from Justin Lamb, my man, Justin Lamb, and he was asking about audiograms, looking for ways to create better audiograms. So listen, I just want to first say that I'm not a huge fan of audiograms. I just don't listen to them. I don't appreciate them. I just don't think they hit as hard. Generally speaking, an audiogram is a way of getting attention from an audience and sending that attention back to your podcast. The problem is most people on social media are not interested in just looking at WAV forms. I think you really need to look at ways of incorporating video. You're just going to get better attention and better traction there. But I'm going to give you 3 quick programs to make audiograms so you can test it for yourself. The first of which is a program called repurpose.io. Great program. You can also use Headliner. You can also use Canva. So there's 3 different audiogram processing softwares that you can use right now. But I also just want to mention that Facebook clips are coming very, very, very soon, like very soon. And I'm really excited about this. Basically what Facebook is doing is allowing podcasters to set up RSS feeds directly to Facebook. And in these RSS feeds, you're going to have the opportunity to have your fans share clips from your show. And it's going to look like a bunch of audiograms. I'm really interested to see how this rolls out. But again, this is going to be a new way of creating audiograms, creating attention for your show. And what's cool about Facebook, you know what? Let's hold the phone on Facebook. We're going to talk about that in more detail here in a few minutes. So let's keep going with the show. But before we get too deep into Facebook, I want to stay on topic here, which is the audiograms. In my opinion, maybe instead of trying audiograms, try creating certain carousels. On Instagram, they tend to work very well. You can also upload documents to LinkedIn, which is another great way of getting attention. I find that these slider type posts tend to do quite well. So you definitely want to incorporate sliders into your weekly routine. Okay, so inevitably, the conversation always shifts to money. How can I monetize my podcast? And today, I'm going to give you 10 ways. That's 10 ways that you can actually monetize your show. So let's get into it. First off, AdSense. You can run ads against your video from stuff like YouTube, or Anchor allows you to monetize day one. So there's AdSense. 2, drop shipping. Basically, you leverage the attention that you get from your podcast to send these people and your fans to a landing page where they can purchase an item. But what's really cool about drop shipping is you don't actually ever touch the item. Your customer basically goes to this website, they click the button to buy it, you get paid, the item automatically gets shipped from a fulfillment center. So drop shipping, a good way to go. 3, sponsorships. Maybe instead of leveraging the AdSense with random ads, you're actually going to reach out and find sponsors for your show specifically. 4, print on demand. Similarly to dropshipping, you are going to send your traffic to a website or landing page where they can look at various designs on t-shirts or articles of clothing that you've set up. They click it, they buy it, and it's delivered by a fulfillment center. You never have to touch anything. Well, you got to do the taxes as the cash rolls in. So print on demand is another way of making some cash. 5, membership community. A membership community is a great way of A, building a community, and B, making some cash on the back end. You can do this with like group coaching. There's a lot of different ways that you can monetize in this way, but create a network. Create a networking site, a community site where people can gather and enjoy your company and the company of others. 6, Coaching. So basically, you leverage the content in your show, you give people wins, you help people out, and then they're hungry for more. They end up hiring you to help coach them on how they can build. This is something that I actually leverage my podcast to do. People listen to the podcast, and I'm able to engage and create relationships. You build know, like, and trust, and I've been able to find quite a few clients just off the back of my podcast. 7, Patreon. Patreon's great. Super simple to set up. They have all the infrastructure. It's very similar to a community site, a paid community site, but people get, it's kind of like a mix between a donation and some sort of benefit, service, or product. But Patreon's great. You could get it started today. You could start making cash immediately with Patreon. So you might check that out. Number 8, digital courses. Right? You can create all sorts of digital products, courses, guides, checklists, and similarly to the drop shipping, the print on demand, you set up all your systems, people go, they click the button to buy, and you get taken out of the middle. Everything is delivered by the digital product service provider. So digital products, great way to go. 9, affiliate marketing. Affiliate marketing is I think a really cool offering if done correctly. And I've been able to drive several different streams of revenue from affiliate marketing. But basically what affiliate marketing means is you develop a relationship with a particular product or service, and then you tell people about it. And whenever people click on your affiliate marketing link and go purchase the product or service, you, my friend, get paid. You get a benefit. You get a bonus. There's tons of companies with affiliate marketing connections. Like Amazon, for example, you may have heard of it. They sell a lot of products. If you recommend a product from Amazon, you have a chance of getting paid. So affiliate marketing is a great way to make some money today. And then number 10 is all about networking and collaboration. And I know this is kind of like a cop-out when it comes to monetization because it's not specifically monetizing directly, but what happens when you start opening doors and making connections is money will tend to find its way to you. And I it's not that easy, but the more you show up, the more value you provide, the more value gets provided back to you. So keep showing up, keep helping people, and you're going to get paid. Money is going to come, I promise. So those are my 10 tips. By the way, do you have any great tips? I'd love to hear from you. DM at Mark Savant Media on Instagram. That's at Mark Savant Media on Instagram. And let me know, what's another way that you're monetizing your show? Or maybe you have a question on some of these tips that I just gave you here. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to help you make more money with your podcast. So hit me up at Mark Savant Media on Instagram. All right, cool. Let's keep moving. So inevitably, the question always arises in Clubhouse, how do I get more downloads? And one of the questions I always ask is, what is your show about? And I hear this time and time again. I don't want to beat a dead horse, right? I don't want to beat a horse anyway, regardless. But I hear this all the time. I host a show that I interview people with great stories, amazing stories about all sorts of different topics, but you got to niche down, guys, girls, you got to niche down. Your show, the reality is your show is not for everybody. As soon as you get clear on who you serve and the solution that you offer to that community, the better. And I'm not perfect. I'm working on it, right? I'm helping after hours entrepreneurs who are putting in that extra effort to fulfill their dreams. I'm helping people create better content in less time so they can focus on what they love, right? That's what I do here at Mark Savant Media. But I'm always trimming that down. I'm always niching down. I'm going to continue to niche down, and you can watch. You can watch or you can do it yourself. And I'm not claiming that I'm going to do it faster than you. You might accelerate way faster than me. In fact, that's my goal. My goal is to give you all the tools so that you can just skyrocket to success and downloads and money and wealth and fame and women and clothing or whatever you're into, right? That's my goal. My hope for you is that you're going to just skyrocket past whatever I'm doing so that you can live your dream. But the sooner you get knowledge and understanding and clarity on who your audience is and how you serve them, the better. I promise you, you are not for everybody. If you aim to please everyone, you end up pleasing no one. So don't do it. Focus on who you serve. Another interesting question that came up during the room was from a young French woman, and she was trying to reach the United States, and she was having a real hard time. And what we talked about was, listen, you're on social media, you're creating content, and you're doing all these things right. Hashtags, images, lots of faces, lots of your pretty, beautiful face on there. But what you might not be doing is properly geotagging your content. And what geotagging does is allows you to set a location from where your post happened. And this might seem like a minor thing, but when you start compiling all these minor things, they end up giving you major results. Because what social media platforms are wanting to do is show the right content to the right people at the right time. And if you're properly geotagging, aka setting a proper location based on the market you serve and based on the people that you want to help, set the proper location. I promise you, it's a small thing, but these small things add up. So make sure that you're geotagging your posts correctly. So we also started talking about the Facebook podcast player. I know I kind of talked about this a little bit at the beginning of the episode, but the Facebook podcast player is coming very, very fast. Like by this weekend, it could be here. And I'm very excited about it. I'm excited about it. It's going to be a big player. It's more validation for us podcasters to know that we are in the right space at the right time. Communication's evolving, and podcasting is at the forefront of this communication involvement. So there's a few things I think you should know about Facebook and how it works. So it's invite only right now. And there's no one strong answer, no definitive answer as to how you can get invited. But I'll tell you this, you definitely want to categorize your Facebook page as a podcast page. Categorize your page for podcast, because right now it's invite only and there's really no way to ask for an invite. So the suspicion here is that if your page is labeled as a podcast, you get put into that bucket to have a chance at having a shot. So make sure that your page is categorized as a podcast. Now you can set 3 different categories for your Facebook page. One of them should be podcast. The others can be whatever you want, farming, lifestyle, whatever you want. That's cool. But make sure that at least one of them is set for podcasting. And honestly, just this week, I set my page for podcasts. So go figure. Maybe late to the party, but better late than never. Yeah. Okay. Another key feature of the Facebook podcast player is after you found a show and hit it, it's going to be able to run in the background. So you're still going to be able to scroll. Not a huge change, but you're not going to be interrupted by watching a video or something along those lines. So you're going to be able to have a much more, I guess, natural scrolling experience, which, by the way, you should probably stop scrolling and start creating, but that's a whole nother tangent. Anyway, the other cool thing that I'm really excited about for Facebook, I kind of mentioned earlier in this episode, is that if you hear something that you like in a show, you're going to be able to share a clip. So you don't have to share an entire 2-hour episode of Joe Rogan. You can share a 1-minute clip from the Joe Rogan episode. Now, this means a lot to you because as you bring in new listeners, as people are listening to your podcast, they're going to be able to share clips of your show with their audience and their friends and their family. And this is just, to me, a really exciting evolution into the way that we actually engage with podcasts. For a long time, I've said that engagement is one of the biggest challenges that podcasters have, but this is going to be a revolution. It's going to completely evolve the way that we engage with fans on our podcast. So I'm really excited to see how this plays out. We don't know exactly how it's going to play out just yet, but it's coming like a freight train, and I'm glad to be on the train with you instead of laying in front of it on the tracks. All right, so next we talked about how you can get better ideas for content, how you can create more discoverability. So I have a couple quick tips for you here. One is top 10 list, right? So whatever your demographic is really interested in, make a top 10 list. This can be a blog. This can be an entire podcast episode. You can shoot a video on this. You can create carousel posts. There's a lot of cool things you can do with this. And you'll actually note that in this episode itself, I did a top 10 list on the top 10 ways you can monetize your podcast. That's going to be created into all those different things. It's going to be a carousel. It's going to be a slider. This is going to be a YouTube short. It's going to be an Instagram reel. We're going to be able to convert that into tons of different pieces of content. And I would encourage you to start thinking about top 10 lists that your demographic will be interested in. Another really cool way you can get ideas for videos and podcasts and blogs and increase your discoverability is go to answerthepublic.com. That's www.answerthepublic.com. And this is a really cool tool because you can simply just type in a keyword, and answerthepublic.com is going to give you a bunch of information on that keyword. Essentially, it's going to show you what people are searching for. It's going to show you what the current trends are. And I'll tell you what, if you can combine evergreen content with a trend, it is a massive, massive opportunity for your show to take off. So answerthepublic.com, great place for you to get ideas on videos and podcasts and blogs. So check out answerthepublic.com. You're going to really love it. Super easy to use. So the last thing I want to talk about is the cover art for your podcast. And I know you've got beautiful, amazing cover art, but we're never happy. We're always improving. We're always looking to make changes and adjustments. I know I'm looking at improving the cover art for the After Hours Entrepreneur. We'll see how that goes. But a few things that I think you really want to keep in mind with your cover art. So A, you want to keep it simple. Don't get too complicated. Don't do any crazy designs. Try to keep your colors very bold, very simple. You want to max out the saturation on your images and on your colors. That way they pop more. So those are a few quick things. I would also recommend try to get a face in there. I know you're probably nervous about showing your face, but don't worry. We love it. We want more of it. Put your face out there. I want to see it. Faces, the reality is faces just tend to do better. When people see a smiling face or an emotional face, they're attracted to it. They want to click on it. This is tried and true on YouTube, on Instagram, but it also matters for your podcast cover art. Lastly, you want to make sure that the text is legible. If you've got a title or text in your cover art, it's got to be legible. If it's not legible, people won't read it. And this is a really, really simple mistake to make, because when you're designing your cover art or you're looking at the cover art that someone designed you in Fiverr, it's on a big 20 to 25 inch computer screen and it's very easy to read. The problem is when someone brings up your cover art on their phone and it comes up in a little box, they're not going to be able to read it. It's too small. So make sure that when you're adding words and adding text to your show cover art, that it's big, that it's bold, that it's legible. Thanks again for listening today. I hope you have a great week. Go out and create something great. I also have some very, very exciting news that's coming. We've got some group coaching that's coming very soon. I've just been doing too many one-on-ones. It's too slow, and I want to provide you with value. So listen, if you're interested in group coaching, we're going to have a 6-week curriculum that's going to really help you upgrade and level up your podcast with some new systems, new softwares. We're just going to help you create better content in less time so you can focus on what you love. If you're interested in that, if that sounds like something you might be interested, I want you to go ahead and email mark@marksavantmedia.com. That's mark@marksavantmedia.com, and let me know that you're interested. I will give you more details as we start to flesh out the plan and roll it out. But it's coming soon, and honestly, I think it's going to be really, really good. It's going to be really good, and it's designed for you. You know, again, when we start thinking about who do we serve, I serve you. You know, I want to give everyone, I want to pour into as many people as I can. And I know it's more lucrative to work with a handful of really high-paying clients, but it's just not where I'm at right now in my life. That's not my passion. I want to help as many people as possible really blow up their social media brand, really improve their podcast. So again, mark@marksavantmedia.com. Hit me up if you're interested in more details on the group coaching. The group plan is going to be amazing. It's going to be very organized, thought out. Again, curriculum, notes, checklist, videos. I think you're really going to enjoy it. So hit me up, mark@marksavantmedia.com, and I'd love to chat with you more about what that looks like. All right, cool. In the meantime, go out, create something great. I'll catch you here next time on the After Hours Entrepreneur. Peace.